Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Megan. The partnership we have in this community with our chambers and our regional partners is unparalleled. I get the honor today to be able to share with you some of the accomplishments of the county over the past year. And it's really, one of the things, regardless of how you felt about last night, there was an election yesterday. Most of what I'm talking to you about is where the rubber meets the road. It's the work we do each and every day that makes a difference in the lives of 117,000 residents of Hanover County. I get the honor to be been appointed to serve this board, this community, to try to make a difference in our community. And I think we're doing that. I think we're making major strides. We're making investments. You're going to hear about that today. Our partnerships with the community, when this community is in need, this community shows up. When there's a project in this community and we're looking for feedback, this community shows up. Your work on a day-to-day basis in Hanover County makes the difference. And our partnership with you, on behalf of County Administration, the Board of Supervisors, we just want to thank you. Thank you for that commitment to making us a better Hanover. Today, I'll be sharing with you a little bit of information about the county over the past year. I will take the first part. Brandon will jump in right after me and share some of the economic development, and then we'll come back together and wrap up today. There will be some time for Q&A. This year, under the very capable leadership of Mr. Michael Herzberg and Vice Chair Sean Davis, the board really set out and it's been working consistently under a strategic plan. Everything we do is intentional. It's done with purpose. We budget with purpose. We plan with purpose. You're going to see that in our presentation here today. We want to make sure there's intentionality in the work that we're doing on behalf of our community. But we don't do that in a vacuum. We do that with all of you working together with us. We do it with our citizens. And you're going to see today the work we've done over the past year, actually the past several years, has really built up to a great deal of feedback on what we're actually executing at this time. It's also important to recognize, and Brian pointed out a few of these, our board is active not only in Hanover County, but in this region. Our board is recognized in leadership roles throughout this region. Our board is receiving accolades for their leadership work throughout this region. It's extremely important. And yes, I will say, Brian, we are a little competitive on some of the economic development projects. But what's good for the region is good for everybody. And so making sure we have a seat at that table, being part of those economic development decisions, being part of those tourism decisions and so on, is extremely important for the success of Hanover and our region. Over the past year, we were able to grow our leadership team. A number of these faces are brand new to Hanover County over the past year. I'm extremely proud of the talent that we've been able to attract, the folks that we've been able to retain. You'll see a number of individuals up here that have been promoted. It's always a piece of pride when someone internal has grown and developed to be able to move up into a leadership capacity. We've done that, and I think our team has continued to get stronger each year. I'm really proud you're going to be able to see some of these folks in action throughout the videos and this presentation, and some really exciting initiatives that we're working on for the next year. I will take a moment to brag. The great philosopher, Mr. Adam Sandler, once said, when I have the microphone, I'm going to use it for just a moment. He said it a little different. I work with 1,400 county employees each day. And each person shows up trying to give their very best to Hanover County. And we don't do this for accolades, pats on the back, or awards. But I will tell you, the work that we're doing to be a top employer, and that one's voted on by our own employees. And it's an attraction tool. To be able to recognize the citizens in our community over 100 years old, that's by far, I love this event, but that one might top it. To be able to be there and celebrate those centenarians each year, receiving awards for community engagement and communications. This board set out a clear challenge when I came back a few years ago. We want to make sure that we're an open government. We want to make sure we're communicating the best we can. We're being recognized for those efforts. Financial accountability. We're still a AAA rated county. I'll share a little more with you about that throughout the presentation. There are awards we couldn't even fit on the pages, so I'm not even going to keep reading all these to you. But when you start seeing that we're having excellence throughout the divisions of the county, that is being recognized not only in the region and Commonwealth, some of these are national awards. And so the staff's work that's being done on your behalf and on behalf of the citizens of Hanover County each day is being recognized. I'm extremely proud. While we don't work to get accolades or awards, it is nice to be recognized as best in class in your work. And we have some really talented people that show up and serve Hanover County each day. I'm going to talk a lot about capital improvement projects today because this board has made some major investments, some which have been multi-year now, and some that are coming up in the years to come. Public safety, as everyone knows, in local government, the two top items that we focus our investments on are public safety and public education. So you're going to hear that theme here today, amongst others. But public safety has been a major investment for us. We cut the ribbon on Fire Station 17. I'll share a little more with you about that. There was a family who actually loved our shelter. Their parents passed and donated $25,000 to the shelter to improve that adoption experience. That's the kind of community we live in. Fire Station 4 in Doswell, there is an existing Fire Station 4. We are replacing that station. That's under final design now, hopefully will be construction shortly. And following that will be Station 8 in Montpelier. So that's in early planning at this time. And budgeted this year, hopefully starting next year, will be a new public safety facility that will house all of Sheriff's Office administration and Fire and EMS administration in a new building on the County Administration Complex. We're making all these investments to make sure that we have folks to be able to serve our community in safe facilities. A lot of our stations, those of you who have been in Hanover for decades know that our volunteers were the life of our fire and EMS system for many, many years. Those stations were not initially designed to have folks living in them 24/7. But they have served us well. They have been renovated over the years, but now has been time for investment. And this board has committed to upgrading the fire stations. Let me share a little bit with you about Station 17.
Today is a celebration. It's a celebration of what's possible when vision, leadership, and community come together. We broke ground here in November 2023. We dreamed of more than just a building. We envisioned a symbol of safety, staffed by dedicated women and men, ready to serve with pride, accountability, courage, and teamwork. These are the foundation values of Hanover Fire EMS. Station 17 reflects those values in every aspect. We are expanding our footprint in a way that truly reshapes the response in Hanover County. With Station 17, more than 12,000 residents occupying more than 4,100 homes and 240 businesses fall within a 5-minute radius of our location. Whether responding to a modern, faster burning structure or responding to life-threatening medical emergencies, every second truly counts. And this station will help us gain precious time. While the building itself is impressive, what truly makes it exceptional are the people who serve from it. The women and men of Hanover Fire EMS who continue to answer the call day in and day out with excellence, integrity, and a deep commitment to those we serve.
I tell you, the community was extremely proud when we opened that station. Our board was extremely proud, but just seeing the staff go into that facility and the pride that they have in their new station. I will tell you that one station addition to our system alone reduced response times by 2 minutes. That's a huge difference in saving someone's life. And so that area received a major boost. Today, Dr. Pennycuff, our superintendent, was recognized, but we have members of our school board here. I have to say the partnership we have with our schools is one I extremely value. When we text and pick up the phone, and we're here to help each other. We're all trying to serve a common goal. And we work with the schools on their investments as well. As you may know, Battlefield Elementary and Beaver Dam Elementary are under construction as we speak here, looking to occupy this coming fall. That's coming quick, is it? We did one school 2 years ago now, Ashland Elementary, and now we're going to open 2 at once. And following right behind that will be Washington Henry, and our plans at this time include another campus-style elementary school. We have not built this many schools in such a short period of time before. We are playing a little bit of catch-up from, we had a downturn sort of in the if everybody remembers during the housing crash, there was a downturn. We delayed projects. This board, once we were back up, made the investments and are making major investments on both the schools and county side.
I am very pleased to share that our schools remain leaders in academic success across both the Richmond region and the Commonwealth of Virginia. In addition to outperforming the state averages in reading, math, science, and history, we lead the Metro Richmond region in all content areas. Among Virginia's largest school divisions, we have the highest pass rate in math for the 2nd year in a row. Through the strong collaboration of our teachers, support staff, administrators, families, school board, Board of Supervisors, and business and community partners, we make a tangible difference in the lives of our county's young people. As the Hanover County Public Schools family, we are leaders in public education, providing instruction that ignites curiosity in our students, offering robust and inspiring opportunities, and building beautiful new schools. On behalf of Hanover County Public Schools, thank you for your unwavering support of this life-changing work. Your kindness and encouragement lift our work, and we are deeply grateful for your partnership.
Thank you, Dr. Pennycuff. It goes a long way. Every once in a while, you heard about, Brian talked about some folks, not every community is like this. It's special here. It's special that we have these relationships when electeds in a community are working together along with their community. We can accomplish so much more, and we're doing with that with our school system. I do want to share other investments that we're making in our communities as well. Parks is one of those fun kind of investments, and you're going to see some, those of you that have been around for a while, that, for years I spent sidelines at Pole Green Park with my kid with soccer and those kinds of things. We've made major facelifts to our parks this year. I want to share some of those investments with you.
Over the past year, Hanover County has made major investments in our parks and recreation facilities. Improvements you can see and feel the moment you arrive. At Pole Green and Poor Farm Parks, residents are enjoying new inclusive playgrounds, updated lighting, ball field fencing, and nearly 400,000 square feet of freshly paved parking lots. Each site reflects the community's input, whether it's the region's only mighty descent slide at Pole Green or the farm-inspired playground at Poor Farm that celebrates Hanover's roots. To keep our park users safe, Hanover installed 10 new AEDs, made possible by a generous $50,000 donation from local businessman Sam Zeiden. Looking ahead to 2026, Wickham Field at Montpelier Recreation Center and Library will provide another high-quality venue for baseball and community gatherings. Hanover County is building spaces where people can play, connect, and enjoy all our community has to offer.
You heard Sam's donation. Sam's also on our EDA. He's a local businessman. There was a life saved at Pole Green Park because we just added an AED 2 weeks prior. When he had heard about that, he said, "What can I do?" And these things are not cheap, right? They're like $5,000 a piece. And we said, "Sam, it'd be grateful you'd be willing to donate another one." He's like, "One? Well, how many are you thinking, Sam?" And he said, "Would 50,000 help you?" That's the kind of people we have here. It really made a difference, and they're deployed throughout the county. Fall Line Trail, if you have not heard about the Fall Line Trail, we hope you take away from this event. This is an amenity not only to Hanover County. I've been getting some grief because I say it starts and ends in the town of Ashland. Mile 0 is actually in Petersburg. Their section's not built though. So for now on, just get yourself some coffee in Ashland, take it's a 5 mile down, 5 mile back, and then do some shopping in Ashland, get a lunch, and then enjoy the rest of the county. But this is something we're really proud of. I want to welcome you to this amazing occasion. Thank you all for turning out today. Today is a regional celebration. We're joined here today by our partners in the town of Ashland and Henrico County to really celebrate what is the beginning of what will be an amazing addition to the trail network here in the Commonwealth. 42 miles of trail that I like to say starts and ends in the center of the universe.
Today is a great day for Hanover County as we cut the ribbon on our section of the Fall Line Trail. We forever mark an important milestone, not just for Hanover, but for the entire region. This project is about more than building a trail. It is about building connections. Connections between communities, between neighbors, and between people who want safe, scenic spaces to be outdoors. When the Fall Line Trail is complete, it will span 7 localities, and it will provide a continuous trail throughout Central Virginia. We are showing what can be accomplished when we come together with a shared vision. We're out of here. The Fall Line Trail is an investment in our future. We look forward to seeing it enjoyed by families for generations to come.
About 5 minutes after that "we're out of here" comments, the skies opened and poured down rain. So we got that one done just in time. But I have to tell you, Jimmy, I see you back there. How many miles have you done on the trail already? 465. 465, and it's only a 5 mile down and 5 mile back. So that's a lot of riding. So if you hop on in town of Ashland and go down, you can go to Woodman Road in Henrico. And so it's even if a novice rider, you can usually do 10 miles. It's certainly a walkable trail. There are folks coming up to me every day that I didn't even know that they rode bikes, or they're like, you can believe how amazing this has been. And so please, if you haven't had a chance, share this with someone, take the opportunity yourself. Trails are part of our transportation network. The CVTA, Central Virginia Transportation Authority, several years back, made a major investment in the Fall Line Trail that allowed our leg, the town of Ashland actually was a leader in that. They had their section done. We completed all the way down to Henrico. There are millions of dollars being invested in this 42-mile trail. It will also connect to the Capitol Trail in Richmond. So you'll be able to basically go to Williamsburg from the Fall Line Trail if you would like to. If you can do that in one day, good on you. But you could if you want, so it's a great opportunity. But it's not to go for naught that our main transportation projects are our road network and infrastructure. Right now, the projects that are underway, we have about $193 million of investment being made throughout our county. I have to tell you that if you would ask not long ago, before the Central Virginia Transportation Authority was created, we were investing about $1 million a year, local funds, to try to match state and federal grants. To try to get this many projects done, we would have been probably talking 15 to 20 years. That investment has spurred major improvements in our community, and that is an effort that we do across jurisdictions in the Central Virginia region. And so there are projects countywide here. They're not just in the Suburban Services District. We're looking at all edges of the county for where we had safety challenges, where we've had traffic accidents, all those kinds of things. We are making those improvements, and many of these are underway. And some of them are small. You know, when you think about safe walkways to schools, I can't tell you how many folks that have students that go to Cool Spring Elementary come up to me and just thank us for a sidewalk. It's the little things that go a long way for some of our families, but it's also the big things that go a long way for some of our families. How many of you thought when 360 was under construction, what the heck are they doing? When it's under construction, these projects look like, man, this is going to be an absolute mess. But I will tell you, you go down on 360 right now, it's pretty darn nice. The improvements that have been made there and safety enhancements that we've made to 360 in partnership with VDOT have gone a long way to improve that corridor, but there are more projects coming. Certainly Pole Green Road is a project that folks are excited about. We're moving that project forward. We have numbers of roundabouts that you saw in the other slides, but continue to make investments in our infrastructure projects. Human services. I will tell you, human services is one of those offerings that a local government does that usually stays under the radar. Obviously, with what's going on with the shutdown right now, many of those questions have been raised. What are you doing? How are you doing work? How are you taking care of those that are most in need in your community? And I want to say, while we work extremely well during crises and challenge, the work that we do every day helps us really bridge the challenging period of time. So when we need each other, we're phone calls away and we gather very quickly. So whether it be a teen summit, we work together on recovery initiatives. Just last week, and I know Mr. Davis just had to step out, we recognized our partnership with a Caritas shelter downtown to be able to house some of the unhoused in the winter. And we'll continue to make those initiatives, partnering with the town of Ashland on those challenges. Human services is going to be a bigger challenge. This board, I will say, and every day you see something, oh, SNAP will be funded, it won't be funded, or this service will be cut, that service will be cut. Our board was prepared to step in to make sure Hanoverians didn't go hungry during the month of November. And that would have cost just about $350,000 in local staffing funds, and it's almost $1 million of what would have been SNAP funds. Luckily, we didn't have to fund the SNAP funds, and we think we're going to get reimbursed for the $350,000, but this board wanted to make sure that those folks were taken care of. But Connect Hanover, every year for the past 4 years, I think I've been talking to you about broadband initiatives. It is fine. This is one of those things that it's finally alive, and it's finally becoming real. At this point, we have over 200 miles of fiber infrastructure already run in the county. We're now pushing over 300 connections in the county. We anticipate that at the end of the day, there will be little over 6,000 total eligible passings in the county. So if you want to connect, you can connect. There's another program right now, we're waiting, holding our breath, that in November or December, assuming the government shutdown ends, that we would get funding for the remaining homes that are unserved in Hanover County. So our goal is 100% connectivity if folks want it. But we have relied on state and federal funding to do this. And it is a partnership between Hanover County, the Commonwealth, and All Points Broadband. It has been a challenge. We don't own the project. We're not the provider at the end of the day, but we work with them each week. Todd Kilduff, Todd, where are you at? Todd, thank you for your leadership on this. And Rook Rogers from our offices, we've been working, we're at the house level now. We're calling individuals at their homes to try to help them get connected. Not many folks in the local government would have people reached out to at their individual home, but our goal is to try to exceed expectations. And yet we can't go run a line to their house, so we're working with a third-party provider. But it is getting real. We got about 70 miles of private roads that remain to have fiber installed. But the goal is that anybody that's in this initial project that wants connected will be able to do so by the end of calendar year 2026. So we are excited. This was the first time I was able to share with you that we actually had infrastructure in the ground. And once they got moving, it was moving quickly. Now we're really ramping up connections. I couldn't not mention this. If all of you remember, January 6th was when we got a few calls from the city saying, hey, we think we might have a problem with water. If you remember January 6th, it was a pretty bad snow day. In fact, we closed Hanover County government that day. So we were on the phone throughout the day, and they said, hey, we got an issue, but the plant will be back online in 2 hours. 2 hours later, we got a call, no, it'll be another 2 hours. Before you knew it, it was 6 a.m. on Tuesday, and hey, we need your help. And that's what we do, though. When we were offering it Monday night, we responded. Todd, our utility director, Matt Longshore, they got deployed downtown. And we worked with the city, because a lot of folks didn't know Hanover County buys the bulk of our water from the city of Richmond, and we have so for over 25 years. We've never had the problem that happened on January 6th. Our effort was, we need the city to be successful so our residents aren't going to be challenged. And within 48 hours, we started to have water return and boil water notices were lifted. But that was an effort where everybody had to come together. I mean, public safety pulled together with us. We distributed water to our community. We tried to support our businesses to the best of our ability. It was a challenge that, you know, every good challenge, if you don't learn from it, it's a lost opportunity. And so through this opportunity, we really are looking to bolster our public utility system. We have major investments coming up through public utilities. Some of these were already in the works before January 6th, to be honest with you. But looking at long-term water sustainability, looking at ways to partner with other counties, not be reliant more on the city. Holding the city accountable to making sure as a customer they're delivering us what we need to be able to provide to our residents. So there's a fair amount of projects coming up in public utilities. I started today talking about intentionality. And that intentionality is done through our planning. I know many of you, so you've been at some of these planning activities. And so we've been working together to make sure that as we budget, as we look to make investments in our community, as we look to put in design standards. I can't tell you how many times, and I saw it again last night, you know, when you look at social media, it's hard not to look at the comments. And one of you, and I won't say who, caught me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, how many more car washes are you going to recruit? I'm not looking at her. And I said, by the way, car washes are not one of our economic development strategies. Neither were vape shops. And in fact, the board is taking steps to limit any future expansion without conditional use permits. But they were primarily by right uses on the properties that they've gone under. And so the county, unless we would have rezoned their property for them before or put in new regulations that would have impeded their ability to do that, they had the right to build those car washes. Now, the only thing that won't make them successful is if you don't use them. They're coming here because people in Hanover seem to love clean cars. And they're good businesses too, by the way. You know, you may, someone last night said, you know, I would have loved a Texas Roadhouse there instead of that. Me too. I love Texas Roadhouse, but that's the business that made the investment there, and we're proud to have them as a business customer. That Texas Roadhouse will get them somewhere else. Small area planning is another initiative that's underway. Some of you in the 33 corridor may have participated in the small area plans. I know Brandon's going to talk about our Economic Development Authority. They've been very key players in small area planning. But we just adopted the 33 Mountain Road Gateway Plan. We already have applications coming in that are consistent with the work that was done on the 33 plan. We're about to start Route 1. And Route 1's basically from the Henrico County line up to the Ashland Town line. And so we're looking at design standards and uses and all those kinds of things right through the old Green Top all the way up to the town line. So that project will be ongoing here. 30 corridor, Kings Dominion. That corridor up through there has probably long needed some attention. Kings Dominion certainly wants to see some improvement to that area. And then you can see where they line up right behind that. I know Mr. Hudson is very excited about us revisiting Mechanicsville Village. That's an area ripe for reinvestment and opportunity there as well. And that's what these plans are to do. They're to bring folks together and look at what do we envision these areas to look like, feel like, and how can we help them become that. Started today, there's some exciting initiatives that we're doing. We actually this year, with the board's support, we're able to introduce a new tourism initiative. And I know our director, Rachel Smith's here with us. Rachel, thank you for being here. We're extremely excited about this. Believe it or not, while we have always valued our partnership with Catherine and Richmond Region Tourism, there's always been a need for this bridge from the day-to-day local tourism activities with our regional reach. And the work that we are doing now is building that foundation for a successful tourism initiative here in the county. Rachel and her team are really working to build the systems, build the websites, all of that branding material, create the opportunities for those that have tourism-related businesses to be able to put data into systems so we can bring everybody together. One of the biggest challenges in Hanover is just one of the most simple things to solve is one of our biggest challenges. Calendaring. There are Saturdays in Hanover County that you could be at 10 events if you want to be at 10 events. And then there's Saturday with 0 events. But no one knows where all these events and activities are happening right now. One of our goals is to make sure that we can maximize the days, weekends in Hanover County the best we can by communicating, getting people to those events, making sure that we're not over planning and sharing the same crowds. But also making sure that everybody knows that, okay, you may come to Hanover and you're here today to visit a battlefield or you've come to the Fall Line Trail, but what else can you do while you're here? We want you to enjoy our restaurants. We want you to enjoy our shops. We want you to be able to enjoy your experience that you have here in Hanover County. And not only the folks that don't live here in the county or town, but our guests, right? We want people to see what we all know and love about Hanover County as well. You may have just heard about this one. This was last week. We were announced that we will be hosting the Corn Ferry Tournament for the PGA next year at the Federal Club. This is the replacement tournament for the Dominion Cup that just was held a few weeks ago. And so in partnership with our friends in Henrico County and Henrico Sports and Entertainment District folks, we will be working with them on all the logistics and pulling this event off. We anticipate that this will be at the Federal Club at least for 2 years. And so we're excited to be able to work with them. This is a national stage. The Corn Ferry Tournament is a PGA hosted event. If you're not familiar with this, I was not. At the end, this is the last tournament for all the amateurs. Whoever the top 20 finishers are, they get their PGA card and get to join the tour the next year. That's really exciting. So some of the names that we're all watching now all went through this process, or the majority of them did. And so this should be a great opportunity. It's a 4-day tournament, not a 3-day tournament. And there's a lot of opportunities that they're looking to do throughout Hanover County. So we're excited to be partnering with them. The governor was really here a lot last year. There were a lot of initiatives and bills that our senators and delegates were engaged with over the past years. Our Commonwealth's attorney, Mackenzie Babichenko, has been down and representing Hanover County well. But just last week, we had over 250 people on our campus for the Governor's Summit on Rural Prosperity. It was a great opportunity. There were supposed to be a few more people there, but they got called to a special session. But we still had a great turnout. And the governor came, did the welcome, and to be able to share Hanover's role in rural prosperity and be part of that, because the number one product in Hanover County, as successful as all your businesses are and as successful as King's Dominion is, it's still agriculture is the number one driver of economy still. I mentioned earlier, financial accountability. We have been a AAA rated county for a number of years. We're extremely proud of this. What's it mean? It means, one, you can trust that the finances are well accounted for and that we have strong board set policies in place to make sure that we're managing fiscally responsibly. We just got back, the team got back some 10 o'clock last night from New York, reaffirming three of our ratings, and hopefully we'll hear some good news on an additional one we're considering. I'm going to just roll through this because I know all of you know everything about our budget already. So we're now just shy of an $800 million budget. Our expenditures align just like I showed you our priorities are. Public education, public safety is where the majority of our overall all funds budget goes, but it's also consistent with our local general fund budget. You still see that primarily education, public safety, and on public education, the counties, it's flipped over to where the counties are actually funding more of public education than the state. That is a change, and obviously you have to make up those priorities. Everything else is far third and fourth. Some of you, we threw this slide in this year because I'm not sure if folks realize this. As we develop those budgets, we also have some parameters in which we have to do that in. some folks wouldn't believe that 54% of all of the property in Hanover County has some kind of reduced taxes on it. So some are in land use programs, and by the way, we don't see this as a bad thing. We're trying to make sure we're protecting rural lands, but when you're developing a budget of $800 million, we also have to recognize what funds are we taking off the table. So when we give tax deferments or programs of relief, there are impacts to us when we do this. But this is one of the areas that we really do strive, and so some of this is done completely with intentionality because we want to help some of those most in need in our community and protect the rural lands. We remain at the lowest tax rate in the region. We've been proud to be able to say that since early 2000s, and I can tell you the board hasn't directed me to raise taxes this year quite yet. Residential home starts. This is a good news, bad news kind of story. I will share with you, residential home starts are way down. So if you thought we were growing too fast or saw too many roofs going up, you're probably happy with this stat. Inventory is dropping and new home starts is dropping. So what's that mean? The cost of the homes in Hanover counties is going up. And so that's creating some challenges. That's not just a Hanover County problem, by the way. It's a problem we have in the region, and affordability in housing is going to be an issue that you're going to hear, whether it be at the General Assembly or throughout the region. But we are still consistent with the 1% growth rate that we've projected for Hanover County. Median sales price, median new home sales price in Hanover County last year was $588,000. That's not a starter home, right? And so, and even our resales were up in the I think it was 468. So think I got a 21-year-old daughter. I don't see her buying a $468,000 home anytime soon. And so that is a challenge for folks in many different aspects of their lives. I'm going to end my section today as I started today. The work that we do is in partnership. Our partnership with the Richmond Chamber, our partnership with Richmond Region Tourism, the partnership with Greater Richmond Partnership, and so many more. We can't do this work alone. We are only successful as we can be together. And so I'm going to turn it over to let Brandon share some of the exciting economic development initiatives with you, and then we'll come back and wrap up. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. I will go ahead and put this out there. Not at one point has myself or anybody on my team recruited car washes, self-storage, or vape shops to Hanover County. So do not put the blame on me. So I want to start out. I know a lot of you probably want to know some direction. Where are we going as far as the economy? What are we seeing? I can tell you some of the things we're seeing. I can't tell you where we're going. It's a very interesting time, and of course I've been saying that since 2020, I think. We had a presentation by the Federal Reserve recently. Renee Haltom, if you've ever heard her speak, she is fantastic. She said the Federal Reserve is looking at our economy right now like driving in a very dense fog. You don't want to go too fast because you don't know what's ahead, but you don't want to slam on the brakes because you don't know what could come up behind you. And I think that's probably a very good description of what we are seeing as well. On one hand, we're hearing of some businesses that are freezing up investment. On another hand, we have record levels of prospect activity in this county. On one hand, we have companies hiring a few people. Over here, few companies are not filling positions. It's a very interesting time. I can tell you, though, from conversations from counterparts across the state and the rest of the country, that we are probably as well prepared and insulated as any community in the United States to weather whatever comes. The ingenuity of the business community in this county never ceases to amaze me and my team. So to start out real quick, you know the team. It's 5 of us, and I think Angie Wright and Ann Glave and Armand Smith are here this morning. Beth's holding down the fort back at the office. We continue to do all of our primary missions, which is attract business to the county, work with you all to help grow and address any needs, concerns, or challenges that may arise. John mentioned the board and how many committees and regional authorities they sit on. These are all the committees, commissions, and boards that my office sits on. And some of these have multiple committees that are involved. So we are very connected, not just with the groups here in Hanover County, but also throughout the region and the state. All right, I'm gonna get into numbers. I am not gonna go too deep because I know everybody's running out of coffee and you don't wanna hear a bunch of statistics, but gotta point out a few things, and this will all be in the annual report. Of course, if you have questions, I'm happy to address later. But we are now about a $8.676 billion economy. We're the 19th largest economy in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We should be getting new data on GDP at the end of December, I think it is. Seeing how the federal government's going right now, I'm not holding my breath. So we will update this information whenever we get it. But one thing I want you to take away is notice that even during COVID, we grew, and we have had strong growth at a time when the nation and state GDPs are ranging anywhere from 1% to 4% growth. Take a look at these numbers. I mean, this is impressive. The Richmond MSA is the second fastest growing community in Virginia. Only Winchester is growing faster than us. So we're growing significantly faster as a region than Northern Virginia and the Hampton Roads. That's a big change from in the past. And that's been reflected here in Hanover County as well. So here's a lot of numbers. Just a few things to point out. Record labor force, our unemployment rate is about 3.2%. That's the highest it's been in a while, but statistically that's not a major concern. And it continues to run consistently below regional, state, and federal levels, which is a good thing. Our average annual wages took a huge bump this year, so we're up to about $60,900. We all know that dirty little I word has been playing around for the past few years, so that cuts into that value some, but at least it's trajecting back up again. I want to talk about this, because this is a little bit jarring when you look at job numbers, and you see the COVID losses, and then all of a sudden we did great, and then numbers came down. Two things to point out that happened this past year. One, Owens & Minor relocated their headquarters from Hanover to Henrico County. They had 100 people in a 186,000 square foot building. They didn't need that much space anymore. They needed 30,000 square feet, and we did not have 30,000 square feet of Class A office. So they moved about 5 miles away to Innsbruck, but those numbers are not reported in Hanover anymore. Since then, the Department of Transportation, Virginia Department of Transportation, has been relocated onto that building. The Commonwealth of Virginia acquired the building. So we will probably see those job numbers work out a little differently in the future. Interesting enough, if you own a business in the 301 corridor, instead of 100 corporate workers that were there, you've got 800 engineers that are now working in that building, plus 250 PhDs that are coming across the street soon with the State Forensics Lab, which is beautiful, by the way. The buying power in that 301 corridor has gone up exponentially. So if you own a business over there, you're very happy about what's happening. Another thing to point out too, last year, we had millions of square feet of industrial space come on the market over the past few years. Cascades, Wegmans, some spec buildings, homes were being constructed, some commercial. That sort of plateaued over the past year or so, so our construction jobs actually dropped off. But that's okay. I mean, it was to be seen. We couldn't keep those numbers up. And I think they will rebound actually once we start to see future construction coming, which I'll talk about in a second. Just going to point out one thing real quick on this slide here. Some of our vacancy rates, we have a little bit of an elevated industrial vacancy rate. We have one large industrial building that's empty. It was finished across from Bass Pro last year, and it was supposed to be a tenant moving in, but they backed out of the arrangement. So the building was finished. It has been shown a lot. It's 550,000 square feet. Once that comes off the market, that number is going to drop. And I will tell you that we're starting to see a significant renewed interest in a lot of these speculative buildings, the few vacancies that we do have. Retail has ticked up from 1.4 to 3.1%. That's not a bad thing. We have had a problem in the past few years trying to find space for shops, restaurants, any kind of retail activity. There's been no vacancy. And so this has given us a little bit of breathing room. We've had some new product that's come online we'll talk about in a second. So that's been good. I love to brag to communities that have big office towers because our office vacancy rate is only 5%, where we were in New York yesterday and I think theirs is running in the 20s, 30s, something. It's kind of scary. We don't have a lot of Class A office. I don't always say that. I just like to brag about the number. But a lot of what we have is, kind of your suburban residential support, and that is in high demand. So product development, we got a few shell buildings and spec buildings that are being constructed right now. Lake Ridge Logistics Center, 2 buildings going up, about 250,000 square feet. LNC Cabinetry, Riverstone are new to Hanover County, and then Train is expanding from across the street. The second building is empty, but is getting interest. We have Crescent Business Center, which is just across the street from here. Building 7 is fully occupied now. Building 8, I think that's 8, can't see it. There is significant interest. Just heard about 20,000 or so square feet of this has gone down to a lab that is going to be expanding here. And then these 2 buildings have not been constructed yet, but with activity picking up, that's likely to, likely to go into construction soon. North Lake Building D, this is near General RV. This building here is about 200,000 square feet, and there is a lease pending on this. Not sure if it's been signed yet, but a data center supply chain company is looking at this. So I want to point out something. You know, I always try to tell you something about these spec and shell buildings that you may not have thought about. Last year I told you that a lot of manufacturing is taking place in these buildings. But we recently saw the list of the top 25 taxpayers in Hanover County. 7 logistics and companies operating out of these spec buildings are now in the top 25, and I think all but 1 have been constructed since 2020, representing almost 1.8% of the total budget for Hanover County is coming out of these buildings. So think about that. 5.2 million at least in taxes that are being paid out of these buildings, and that also collectively it's several, I think it was about 1,500 jobs I added up that have come from these. So these buildings, you know, some people think they're nice, some people don't like the looks of them. They're major job tax revenue generators, so keep that in mind. So I wanted to talk about this. I was on a panel discussion recently for the 250th committee, and we were talking about the impact of tourism coming up and how it's impacting our small businesses. It's the first time in 2.5 years I didn't say the words data center in a presentation. It was kind of refreshing, but I can't do an economic update without talking about the elephant in the room, because that elephant's growing. We have, of course, the Track Technology Park, which was approved about 1.5 years ago for 1,200 acres. They will be getting electricity to the property. When I say electricity, the electricity they need, which is significant, probably in 29. And so we anticipate some announcements and possibly projects moving forward there within the next couple of years. This chart down here at the bottom, I thought was fascinating. Avison Young put this out earlier this year. So this is data computation in the world. In 2024, it was 164 zettabytes. That's 10 to the 21st power. It's a lot of data. That's going to more than double by 2028. This doesn't go to like 2030, 2040. The only way, John mentioned the car washes, the only way we stop this is everybody put your phone down, get off social media. Don't Netflix, don't YouTube, don't use GPS, don't use telemedicine, don't use ATMs, don't swipe a card. All of this plus 1,000 other things we do every day are using these facilities. And so that is what is driving this. Now, coming out of Northern Virginia, you're seeing a lot of this growth. I just saw in Prince William County, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, a lawn and garden supply company, about 40 acres, sold their business for $160 million for a data center. Last night, I just read an article that a data center acquired land in Loudoun County. It was a site that had been prepped, and I don't know how many acres it was. $700 million. It's one of the largest land transactions in American history. These things, they're coming. And so Hanover County land is cheap compared to that, $700 million. And that's why you're seeing a lot of this come into the Richmond market. So we're the 7th largest co-location inventory, largest year-to-date inventory increases, highest absorption rates, and our vacancy rate's only 0.5%. There's no room. So something else I learned recently, that these data centers, what they're doing, we've all heard artificial intelligence. All right, I'm going to ask a question. Who in here supports manufacturing coming back to the United States? Raise your hand. All right. When jobs come back into the United States, the people aren't making things. They're running the robots that make things. Increasingly, automation, robotics are using artificial intelligence to talk to each other. Artificial intelligence uses 4 to 10 times the computation power as a traditional calculation. When you start thinking about all this, that's why you're seeing these things coming to Hanover County, to Dallas, to Atlanta. The data centers are not just coming to Richmond. They're coming all over the United States and increasingly in the world. I was lucky and very honored, to be quite frank, to present with Greater Richmond Partnership a few weeks ago to, I think it was about 10 Japanese developers and business people who were coming into this market to learn about best practices on how to build data centers. The Japanese are looking at us to understand the best practices because they see what's coming their way as well. So it's just a fascinating industry. Another thing to point out is the supply chain. We've had about 3 to 4 significant leases in Hanover County recently for supply chain companies to build and equip these facilities. That's only going to increase. In the Richmond region since 2020, there's 7 announcements that have been tracked representing 476 jobs and about $134 million in investment. That's what's been tracked. There's a couple of announcements that haven't been publicized. So this is an industry that is moving in rapidly, and it's going to impact all of us, and it will continue to do so. It's kind of cool, though, from my standpoint, to see this on the front edge. This is a new world that we're entering, and this area is very much on the front end of that. Business announcements, we had 132 new businesses, expansions and announcements this past year. So the Virginia Home is a wonderful project we're very excited about. A number of industrial logistics companies. The Kroger on 360, I'm getting a lot of excitement out of that. And so if some of you live in that area, I know you're thrilled to have a super Kroger right there. Talking about the retail, so this is the some of the retail that has been expanded recently. So the shops at Rutland Place. We're very happy to hear that Wong's Tacos will be within walking distance of my office very soon. Stony Run Commons is filling out. This is just north of Sliding Hill Road and US 1. It's about 11 businesses going in here, including a hotel. I think it's 1, maybe 2 pads left. This corridor is lighting up because of what Henrico County has done with the sports arena down at Virginia Center Commons. It is impressive the attention this corridor is getting now that it didn't have 2 years ago. And then the shops at Rutland Grove, just north of our office on 301, and we have a couple of businesses already open, and I've heard leasing activity continues to remain very strong in that area. So excited for this. Again, it's given a little bit of breathing room into an environment where we had such tight vacancies for so long. Business expansion, Lutron added 145,000 square foot of a manufacturing facility adjacent to their 60,000 square foot facility. They make shades, and I'm not talking your grandma's vinyl shades that break very easily. These are the type shades that are in offices and homes that adjust based on lighting and things like that. They're being made right here in Hanover County. In addition, Train, Fesco, Nefco have all expanded this past year as well. And I do want to talk real quick on a small business expansion that we had and a success. This is an individual we've worked very closely with.
Hi, I'm Tricia Reagan, founder and CEO of Synchros Language Solutions. Synchros was founded in 2012. The majority of our business falls into 4 major sectors: education, medical, government, nonprofits. The clients that we work with, we like to call them partners and not clients. In my work as a professor, I really care about language. It's my whole reason of being. Translation is about words, but it's really about who you're connecting those words to. There are a lot of international businesses that are deciding to start businesses here, and so for us to be able to support those organizations with language services, I think is how we're sort of looking and moving into the future. In Hanover County, we get a lot of support for small business. This tight-knit nature of Hanover County is awesome, but it's not so small that you can't actually grow a business here. So you make connections with people that will help you grow your business that you might not get in a larger jurisdiction.
Tricia's been a dear to work with. I've known her for several years, and her business partner she started her language translation company with actually was a firefighter in the city of Roanoke who I knew long before I knew Tricia. So when I came here, we connected those dots. It was really cool. But that's just an example of some of the expansions and successes that we've seen. It's not just the big guys, it's the mom and pops as well that are doing very well. Despite challenging environments sometimes. Business engagement, this past year we had a couple of we had a business appreciation event as we do every fall. And one thing that we did this year, stemming out of that little water situation, we decided that we would put on a course to help educate businesses on business resiliency and emergency planning. And we think of emergency planning as fires and tornadoes, but it's also the water goes out. It's also all your staff walks out one day and you don't know where anything is. So that was we thought a very helpful course to offer our business community, and we look to be doing more of those types of events in the future. The business, Heart of Hanover Business Awards, a number of you have heard me talk about this before. We put this on this past year, and again, my office was a little concerned. We needed 10 businesses in 7 categories to have a top 10 list and then a top 3 from that. And we worried if we would have enough. 32,000 votes and 600 plus businesses later, that kind of squashed that worry a little bit. This was successful beyond any of our wildest dreams. And the way the community rallied around this, you should see the best practices we have recorded as far as like websites and web pages and Facebook pages. Absolutely incredible. Had a great event. We're already in the process of planning next year's event. We've got it on the calendar, and we're going to make it an even bigger thing. So very excited for that. And again, the coolest thing I tell people, a pressure washing company got over 1,000 votes that nobody had ever heard of, but yet out in the Montpelier area is very popular. So it was just one of those cool things. It brought some recognition to some businesses that quite frankly may be operating in a small corner of the county that a lot of us don't see. So wonderful day. Marketing and engagement, we continue to put out our newsletter. We are revamping our website, hoping to launch that in the next few weeks. Actually, a lot of the same content, but just updating a 14-year-old, very antiquated website. Our hiring app received several awards this year, including Virginia Association of Counties, International Economic Development Council, and the Virginia Economic Developers Association. And then another thing that we do is we do business success stories. We've had a couple produced in the past few years, including this one.
One of our filters is on the carbon dioxide scrubber on the International Space Station, the capsules that service the International Space Station, on the launch vehicles that launch satellites and service satellites in orbit, where we work with NASA on the next generation of space launch vehicles. We're working with the military on the next generation of military aircraft. Chances are people aren't even aware that that kind of product is being made right here in Ashland.
If you go into Purveyor in Ashland, you'll never look at a filter the same way again. So marketing trips, we work with our region state to visit markets all over the country and all over the world. One thing that we're starting to do now, if we go into a market, especially a foreign market, that has an operation here in Hanover, we try to visit them. And so Armand Smith went with the region to Europe this year, and they were near Austria, so they went and paid a visit to Anton Par. Anton Par is a major employer in Hanover County. Their headquarters for the Western Hemisphere is here in the county. They bring 100+ salespeople into this county every month, put them up in hotels, feed them, etc. And so this was just a little way for us to pop in and say thank you for what you're doing in this community. You won't find a more passionate company about Hanover County either. They have a brewery on site at their headquarters. We're trying to push them to do that here in Hanover as well. Agriculture and tourism, we had record year with expenditures, record year of tax revenue. I cannot tell anybody how happy I am enough that Rachel Smith has joined us to launch the new tourism department. She's going to be taking some pressure off of us. My frustration with tourism has always been, it's just been a component of what my office does. We couldn't put the attention to it that it needed to really grow it. Rachel is going to be doing that, and I'm so happy. We've already had a ton of conversation and partnership, and that's only going to grow. It also helped that she came on, I think day 2, I called her and said, I'm going to invite you to a meeting. And she said, who is it with? And I said, it's the PGA. We might have an event coming here that's going to be very impactful to what you do. So talk about having something landed in your lap right on you to the job. So don't mess it up. Rachel, we are already, the amount of collaboration we've already thrown back and forth to each other about this event, we're just so excited. Another thing that we have done this past year is another one of our videos.
This year's our 50th anniversary. We've had a lot of entertainment added to the park this year. We've opened the Kings Dominion Theater, which has been closed for a few years. We have 2 different shows this summer. We had a laser show earlier this year, and we currently have a gazillion bubbles show where there are a gazillion bubbles in the theater. We've decorated all of International Street. We have a 50th light show every night where International Street is lit up. The Eiffel Tower is lit up every night, played to a lot of energetic music. And we have a 50th show on our bandstand that kind of goes through the decades of music throughout the years of the park.
Again, a wonderful partner in our community, wonderful employer, and a major tourist attraction that brings a lot of people into this community every year. Our EDA, I see we have Carrie Carlisle and Ed Keeper here with the EDA this morning. I don't think there's anyone else that's here. I want to tell you, I am so proud of what these guys and girls are doing. It's been impressive, and a good, just passionate group of people to work with. They've put on, helped put on some events this year, attended a number of project meetings. They're sponsoring a hotel and event space study right now, hoping to get that back soon. And I'll also brag a little bit about Sam Zeiden, who's on the EDA as well. He listened to Rachel come give her tourism speech a couple weeks ago and shocked all of us and said that he would help comp some of her marketing for the next year to help promote Hanover County to the exterior world. Completely caught us off guard. And that's just a drop of the passion that this group of individuals is bringing. They make my life busy, but they make it so much easier, and I could not thank y'all enough for everything you do. And just a few things real quick that's happened since the end of the fiscal year, but we put on, of course, the Federal Reserve luncheon. This was outstanding if you got to attend it. Biz Bites and Beverages this past fall, and then our website's being redesigned, and then we've had a few new businesses as well. So here is the QR code to get to our annual report. It's on our website, again, which is being revamped and should be rolled out pretty soon. And at any point, if you have questions, want to talk about anything, if you need to talk to us about expanding or have any issues, you know where we are. Reach out to us at any point. We're happy to help and engage anywhere we can. So with that, I'll turn it back over to John to wrap it up.
I tell you, it's always an honor to be surrounded with some great talent. How about Brandon? Nice job, Brandon. So I know it's dangerous to be between you and a raffle, so I'm going to wrap up the presentations here really quickly. But there's a lot to come next year. There's a lot of projects that I'd share with you we need to deliver on. There's areas that we'll be continuing to focus, but I hope your takeaway today is we got your back. We're here for you. We're working hard for you each day. We learn from you. We love working with you. I appreciate our partnerships. We are about to share a new website. 10 days from now, we're launching a new county website. We hope it's more interactive, more user-friendly than the current site. So we look forward to sharing that with you. And just thank you. Thanks for all you do for our community. We are not as good without all of you working together each day and the exemplary businesses that you offer, not only to Hanover County, but the region and beyond. So thank you for allowing us your time today. We appreciate all you do. Thank you again. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your partnership. And we will see you here next year. Thank you.